been a while since my last post of a video. Simple reason for that, I spilt a whole cup of coffee into my PC. Turns out that was quite a big deal. The PC completely died. Certainly some of the coffee was ingested by the hard disk drive, and it was quite a big deal to try to get something going again. I thought I was backing up quite well, and Microsoft keeps going on about how good their backups are and things. Not the case. I still haven't recovered all that much stuff. And there's well, there was a problem with recovering my channel, this channel. In the meantime, between when I started this and now, the Google, who actually owns YouTube, changed the rules so that you couldn't actually use a Microsoft identity to do YouTube Studio. You actually had to have a Google one, and it took quite a while of going through the labyrinth of trying to recover that channel, which I finally did yesterday. So yeah, I had to buy a new PC and everything for that. So this video is to talk about the progress on the Norton Commando, my Interstate. I have had it running. I've actually even ridden it, and I came across three main issues. The first issue was to do with the ignition switch, 4-position switch. First position is side lights, and you can take the key out, and the side light of the front and pilot light and the rear light are both LED, so it's quite a low drain, so the battery will last many hours. That position is intermittent, to say the least. To say I was disappointed is a slight understatement. Brand new switch, supposedly genuine Lucas, bought from a reputable shop. Turns out it's not uncommon. There are several videos and blogs and things on the interweb that actually tell you how to mitigate this problem. They all mean taking the switch apart, and the switch uses like crimped metal to hold it together, so I'm not particularly enthusiastic in doing that. But once I bought another switch, that's something I will do. The second issue that I had is the seat height. The Trident, which I'm sat next to, I've owned since 1974. The seat height on that is 32 inches. I actually measured it. I put a straight edge across with a level on it and then measured down. And I've never had an issue where I couldn't actually get my foot on the ground. And with the Norton that was certainly not the case. Turns out, of course, the Norton measures at 33.5 inches, which is quite a long way up, especially as my inside leg is 29. So I have a recent acquisition of a scrap BSA A65. I've always loved the power egg type design on a BSA, the A65, A50. And that also has a seat height of 32 inches that I measured. The thing with the difference between all of these is the Norton seat is square at the front and is 10 inches wide. Whereas, for instance, the BSA seat, again 32 inches tall, but the actual front end comes down to a point, and that's somewhere in the region of 3 to 4 inches, depending where you measure it. And the Trident, not as extreme as the BSA, but it does actually taper in so that it gives you a chance to get your legs closer together. There are several options to mitigate that issue. The first one I thought of was sending the seat off to get the foam cut down, or new foam, and then have it recovered. I could go to somewhere like RK Leighton, or there's a few others out there. But a friend of mine pointed out that the cost of doing that would be very similar to the cost of buying one that's already done. And there's a company in America that advertises reduced height seats. And I've ordered one of those, and when that comes in I can update you on that. The other options that you have is I could find a low profile tyre, and that'll give me a little bit of advantage. And I understand that TT100s are made low profile. I have Avon Road Rider on the back. And it's a 19-inch wheel, so there's a little bit of a wrinkle there. I could have the rear wheel be built with 18-inch, that's what's on the Trident and the BSA and a few others. But I had that back wheel on the Norton rebuilt, and it has a stainless steel rim and stainless steel spokes and such like, so that would be quite an expensive option. And then of course I can actually have shorter shock absorbers. The shock absorbers on the Norton are Icon, which is a company that took over from Coney and makes effectively the same shocks. The shock that I have on the back is 13.2 inches. But I could put something like a Hagen shock or shock absorbers on. They will actually make custom lengths, but I could go to say 12.4 inches, and that would give me nearly an inch advantage there as well. Because I did find it quite difficult to ride the Norton, not at all stable on it. But the third issue may have a bearing on that. When I kicked the bike over when it was in here, I didn't have the spark plugs in. So there was no actual load on the gearbox or kickstart mechanism or clutch or whatever. And it seemed fine. So I took the bike out, took it round to the garage, put the spark plugs in, petrol, all the rest of it, tried to start it, and there was a clicking noise coming from the gearbox. And I thought, maybe that's something in the kickstart mechanism that's causing that issue. But that wasn't the case, in that when I actually went to ride the bike, a very abbreviated ride, I mean, the engine runs fine and there's no noise coming from the gearbox until you put it in gear and start to pull away, and then you can really feel it. Something's hitting something somewhere. And so it was a very abbreviated ride. I do have a film of it, and fortunately there's no sound. Something with my setup with the camera or whatever, I got it wrong, which is frustrating. So the plan is to get the Trident out of the dining room, because there's not enough room to get two bikes in, and to put the Norton in here so I can work on it in the dry, because we're now at the end of summer. But to take the Trident out, I want to take the engine out first. I have a plan to restore the original engine for this bike. It's a T150T 19. It was registered April 1917. So then put this engine in one of the other frames that I have, and that will be in a subsequent video. And I have plans for what I'm going to do with the Trident. So we'll get back onto the Norton very soon. As I say, I've ordered the seat. I'm going to order the Hagen shocks. I'm not totally sure what size to go. And I'm going to look at the tyre. I think I'll look at the tyres first and see if there are some reduced height ones that will work with a Norton Commando. And reduced height tyres, I should say, that will work with the Norton Commando. And then order the shock absorbers and yeah, move on from there.